Hello YouTube, I am Vince White. I am an employment attorney, and on this channel we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. I must tell you two things I've been told. First, like, comment, and subscribe. If this video is helpful, that will help me to help more people just like you. And our tagline, I must deliver, is everybody works, but not everybody wins. So, let's move on. We got a question here from YouTube user Elijah West. I'll read it into the record and we will respond. Would like to know also why sometimes when you call a law firm and ask to speak to your lawyer, they're never available to talk. You need to get on his calendar and they're not sure why you are calling unless you're adding more facts to your file. Sometimes people just want to talk about how they feel and where their mind is. I had a bad experience recently with my attorney's paralegal. No, I don't want to add to my file. I'm just struggling with the effects of discrimination and retaliation. This is, Elijah, this is the immortal tension between plaintiff side employment attorneys and their clients. And let's dig into it. So, people who've experienced workplace discrimination have been through a lot. They have a trauma. They've been attacked on the level of their identity. And that is horrible. It does damage. Your emotional well-being is harmed. You have an open wound in your psyche, right? Your employment attorney is someone who can help you fight what was done to you. They are also probably, if I'm being honest, one of the worst suited people that you could possibly vent to. And I'm not trying to be funny here. Like, seriously, think about the kind of human being who goes into becoming a therapist, a psychiatrist, a mental health professional. I think a lot of us think, oh, nurturing, caring, empathetic, right? What kind of person do you think becomes an employment attorney? They want to spend every day fighting about hate crimes and only get paid if they win? That does not strike me as the most caring human being, generally speaking. There's, and listen, all employment attorneys are different. All employment attorneys are different. There are 1,000,001 different kinds of employment attorneys, I'm sure. Actually, I'm not really sure there's even 1,000,000 employment attorneys in the country. I think there might be less than 10,000. But I'm not too sure, at least on the plaintiff side. But that being said, odds are you didn't find the employment attorney with a deep well of emotional resources. Just statistically unlikely, I think. I know these people. I am one of these people. We're a bit off. We're a bit less than in some of the aspects of life. Just to be honest with you. So we learn over the course of our career that people have experienced tremendous trauma when they come to us. Early in my career, I would take these long driving vacations, 4-hour, 6-hour, 8-hour drives, and I would just have clients venting to me for the entire trip. Just cell phone, Bluetooth, let the client go. I'll be honest with you, I don't think those human beings, those clients, derived any value from that. They didn't, because if they had derived value, at some point their emotional cup would have been filled and they would have stopped. But what you learn is it's not going to stop. Just to be frank with you, clients who vent will continue to vent because they're not going to feel better. They're not going to feel better because you don't know how to make them feel better. It's why they need their mental health professional. It's why they need their friends, their family, their loved ones, their confidants, their consiglieres, whoever it is they speak to, because you're not those things. And as try as hard as you might, you're never going to be those things. So I think, 2 years into my career, I finally said to a client, I said, listen, I'm not going to use your name, obviously. Listen, it's very clear to me that you're very upset. it's also very clear to me, like we're on like the 16th run of you doing the full vet over the past couple weeks. And I care about you. I do sincerely care about you. And it's clear to me that I'm not giving you what you need, and I never will. Never going to be the guy. Never going to make it happen for you. So I think you got to call someone. You got to call someone who will be what you need in terms of this venting, right? And she and I are great terms to this day. You know, every year she sends me a plate of cookies with a mean little note about how fat my cheeks are. She's been watching the videos. Feels I'm gaining weight. She's wonderful. I'm really glad I could represent her. But I can remember her, the first client was like, listen, this is going nowhere. You're not getting what you need from me. You're never gonna. And I can't listen to story number 17. Like, I can't listen to the full vent the 17th time. I will engage in acts of violence. If you somewhere between number 17 and number 20, I'm going to jail. To her credit, I mean, we argued. She didn't just hear that and say, "Oh, cool, yeah." No, she was like, "Listen, you motherfucker. My case is worth a great deal of money, and you're my attorney, and you're supposed to help me. So, listen." Which is a valid point. It is a valid point. But it's also not entirely a valid point, because I can't help with that. I'm not her therapist. I'm not her family. I'm not her loved ones. I don't know how to fill her emotional cup. I don't know how to heal her trauma. And most of the attorneys in this field will not. So what I tell attorneys to do, and this is my advice to young attorneys, I had this conversation many times. When a person calls you up and they want to vent, you have to give them time, because you need to make sure that they know you care about them. But at some point, they should have become aware. You should have shown, you should have demonstrated, put the wheels to the road on the idea that you are engaged in caring about them. Like, really, truly. Like, let's make it real. We're not trying to show that we care. Not really. We're trying to care, to engage in acts of caring. And real acts of caring are going to be first time and listening. And at some point you say, hey, I'm not going to get this done for you. You're not going to get what you need by venting to me. So, like, let's get you to someone who can help. And that's why you're hearing this. Maybe this paralegal said to you, do you have something to add to your case? Because the attorneys, I don't know what that attorney's caseload is like. I don't know what's going on there, but that attorney could be sitting on anywhere from 20 to 160 cases. I don't know. Different firms do it different, right? So that attorney has no ability, almost none, to get on the phone with you for half an hour to talk about things that are not actually advancing your case. That's a wild statement. That is something clients will not understand. They will never understand that. And listen, do I think an attorney should be walking around with 120 cases unsupported by other attorneys? No, I don't. But I'm just being realistic here. There are solo practitioners sitting on 120 cases. We can argue whether or not that's irresponsible, but it doesn't change the fact that that means they cannot take the time to listen to things that are not advancing the case. So you might be running into that tension. That might be why this person's saying, like, yeah, so tell me, is it something about the case, right? And you, I know you, we've conversed online, you've posted questions before. I know you to be a good and reasonable person with a depth of knowledge and an intellect that is more than sufficient in every single way. Like, you know what's up, right? So I'm not criticizing you in any way. I'm saying that you're being grouped in with other people who want to vent. and who want to vent not for half an hour. If it was a half an hour, I think all the attorneys would just do it, right? Like, I mean, but it never is. It's a half an hour every day. It's 7 hours a week. It's like different people have different needs. But generally, if you think you're going to let someone run out, like they're going to vent themselves out of their trauma, doesn't work. That's not a thing. Like, I don't know how to treat trauma, which is the point of this video in many ways, but I know that just letting someone talk and saying, ain't it. Not going to get it done. I know that. I have tested that. I have years of my life invested in trying to put a bandage on trauma that way. Didn't help anyone. Worthless. I was just pissing away hours of my life. Helping no one. So then I came up with this idea, which I already kind of mentioned. You need to demonstrate that you care. Sincerely. Like, you need to really and actually care and put that into action. And then you need to have a conversation about what actual help might look like and how you can't provide it. And this will ruffle feathers. There will be people who's like, that guy is heartless. I don't want to hire that guy. That's kind of my job, right? I mean, you don't go hire a mercenary to stab people for you because he listens to you real nice. You don't go hire your attorney, who's basically a monster for hire, because of their emotional capacity. You hire them for their capacity to harm others until those others cough up money. Generally speaking, that's the most common arrangement, right? And look at me. Am I going to meet your emotional needs? We both know I'm not. I never will. I wouldn't even know what that would look like. I don't even know what my emotional needs are, right? It's just, it's a mismatch of skill sets. And the fact of the matter is, you need multiple skill sets involved to heal from trauma. Like there can be and there should be a person fighting for you, and that should be the attorney who is going to war on your behalf. You have a team. You are no longer a victim. You are a combatant, and you're not alone. That's valuable. That is something the attorney can provide you. And they can provide that to you by advancing the case in an aggressive manner. Full court press, throwing haymakers, going hard. That has value. That may help your healing process. Most of my clients tell me that actually feels amazing. But it's only a part of the puzzle. It's a tiny part of the puzzle. There's more. And I don't know anything about treating the rest of trauma. I don't even know who I'd call to teach me. So, Elijah, that's, I think, what you're running into. This pushback. And what you're saying, I'm only judging based on what you're saying. And I know that you, like, this attorney should be listening to you. I know that, right? But what you're saying here is sometimes people just want to talk about how they feel and where their mind is at. If you're talking about where your mind is at vis-a-vis tactics for the case or settlement, that has value. That is advancing the case. That is a conversation to be had with your attorney. If you're talking about how you feel, probably want to listen to you for about 10 minutes, and I'd say, hey, you're going through a lot. Do you have someone to talk to who, like, knows how to deal with this? And hopefully, if you don't for some reason, we can get you some resources. Because you've been attacked on the level of your identity. That is an open wound. It needs to be treated. Elijah, I hope this came across sincere. Like, I very much do respect you. I hope that this did not come across very jerky. I just think I have insight into what you're dealing with. I don't know that paralegal from anyone, right? But I feel like I might know what she or he is doing. They're running interference for an attorney who can't be on the phone for long periods of time that don't advance the caseload. They can't. So a lot of these firms are just too busy, right? I hope this is useful. I hope this like makes sense to someone. I think it's just going to make people angry. But I guess even that has value. Like, I guess if I can be the villain for someone, and in that being that villain, introduce an idea that might help them in their conversation with their actual attorney, that might be a good thing. Good luck, everybody.